Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we are going to take a look at Kaiju number 8. Big surprise given what my channel's been doing lately, and I don't mean to spam you with Kaiju number 8 at the expense of everything else, but it has been just such an amazing few chapters. Every single time I turn my brain off, it seems like another idea pops into my head. Now, let's look at Commander Shinomiya, and let us dare to ask the question. We don't want him to be right, but what if Commander Iso Shinomiya is right about Kafka Haibano? What if that is a kaiju he's dealing with? All right, now, before you get out your torches and pitchforks, hear me out. Let's take a look at the final scenes of Chapter 34, and there will obviously be spoilers for Chapter 34, so if you aren't caught up yet, hit the links below and go check out Humans Are Weird. I have the data, a book of human absurdity, but I really want to get talking to this, so we're not going to waste any time. So the weirdness kind of starts off on page 2021, where Commander Shinomiya breaks out his superpowered pistol and blasts Kafka in the arm. And Kafka brings his arm up to defend himself, and his arm is transformed into his Kaiju number 8 form. Now, the big part of what drew my thoughts in this direction were quite simply Commander Shinomiya's word. Now, if there's one thing we can say about Commander Shinomiya, he is not a frivolous or flippant character in any sense of the word. He says exactly what he means, and he says it clearly and concisely. He might lie in the line of duty, but he's not going to exaggerate or joke around or be flippant, especially not in uniform. And he is most definitely in uniform right now. But anyway, he shoots Kafka, then he dashes forward, drives his fingers into Kafka's side right above his liver, and then pulls out a handful of blood. And he says, this is what he says, and pay attention, I'll let you in on a little secret. In this world, a life form that can stop bullets with their bare skin could never be considered a human Kaiju number 8. Now, you can't see this, but so look at that panel. Could never be considered human Kaiju number 8. Look at the emphasis that he says the final, name or designation with. And think about that. But let's go back. I'll let you in on a little secret. That is, in itself, a joke. A rather flippant joke if he thought he was saying it to a human. But he doesn't think he's saying it to a human. He thinks he's saying it to a kaiju. And saying it to a kaiju rephrases it as something that, yes, an interrogator would say to a spy who could not be expected to know that thing. I'll let you in on a little secret, something that you don't know. In this world, again, we're so used to using the phrase from your planet or on this planet or on this world in our everyday lives, in our day-to-day joking, jesting lives, that it really didn't throw up any red flags when I first read it. But that is not the kind of phrase that Commander Shinomiya would use in a flippant, joking manner. If he's using this, he truly believes that he's speaking to someone from another world. A life form that can stop bullets with their bare skin could never be considered human. Now, if you look at this from the perspective of us, who firmly believe that Kafka is 100% human, except for the little kaiju inside of him, that just sounds like mockery, vicious mockery. But again, Commander Shinomiya might be ruthlessly brutal, but he does not appear to be prone to mockery. He makes simple statements of what he believes to be fact. So he believes that whoever he's talking to doesn't know this information. And now he addresses, and then he ends his sentence by addressing Kaiju number 8 by his designation. Now, this just causes, on the one hand, Commander Shinomiya, it's probably no surprise that he genuinely believes that Kafka is a kaiju. Now, the question is, could he be right? Now, we don't want to think about this, but the situation, we know that the kaiju that initially infected Kafka had sapience. He could speak, he could think, he had goals, he could be excited. That little bug-eyed kaiju definitely had all of those attributes. He came up to Kafka and said, "I found you." And we haven't been wanting to think about that because we just love Kafka so much. But that there is the real possibility that the actual Kaiju number 8 is in there and has a presence. Now, interestingly enough, flipping back to page 20, you see that Shinomiya is there, and she's got that kind of panicked look in her face, but she's not surprised by anything, and she yells out, "Kafka Haibino." Now, these authors are very, very good at making every single scene do 2 or 3 things. Now, she didn't say private Haibino, no, she calls him by his whole human name, which is a breach of protocol. You're supposed to address each other as private family name, private or commander surname, or specialist surname. Instead, Kikoru, who is, the daughter of the commander, she was raised with a military upbringing, she breaks protocol, which I thought was odd at the time. That one did throw up a red flag, but I didn't think about it as I moved on. In this scene, this is right before Kafka gets his arm shot up and transforms into a kaiju, she is still 100% thinking of him as a human. And, in fact, she might even be trying to remind her father that he is a human by using an inappropriately informal name structure. Now, why is that important? It's because the chapter ends not with an image of Commander Shinomiya and not with an image of Kafka, but with an image of Kikoru. Again, it's a very similar image. It's just her face and her eyes. And the fear and the intense emotion for Kafka are gone, and they're replaced by stunned surprise. It's nearly the same look that she had on her face when she looked at the core in Kafka's heart, the X-ray that showed the core replacing his heart. Now, so here we have the final panel, the final thought that chapter 34 leaves us with is Kikoru is shocked by something. Not in the sense that she abhors what her father's doing. And at the moment, her father just took a blood sample. She knows perfectly well that Kafka can shake that off. No, she is shocked and stunned and just completely flabbergasted by what she's seeing. And she cannot be incredibly surprised that they needed a blood sample, B, her father went in to get it himself because of the danger, or C, Kafka's been injured. She's seen him injured way worse than this in the line of duty. She's been injured way worse than this. So there's nothing in the previous panels that could really account for that shock, except we don't know exactly what she's looking at. Now, the panel previous to that shows Kafka, and very, very interestingly, he is mad. He's furious. You can see the anger in his eyes. And again, that's interesting. He has no personal reason to be angry at the commander. Kafka knows better than anybody else how logical the commander's actions are. And Kafka did not get anywhere near this upset when Vice Captain Hoshina diced him up like a beef going to slaughter. Vice Captain Hoshina lopped off 5 separate limb chunks and cut him open and cut him to his core. And Kafka didn't get angry. So now, this could, if this were any other manga, I'd say it just might be inaccurate drawing. His fear and his intensity and his focus on getting his message across might have been mistranslated as anger by the artist. But these artists specialize in communicating emotion through the eyes. And in this picture, Kafka Haibino is furious. Not brokenhearted, not sad, not resigned, not determined to prove himself. Furious. And as someone pointed out, because I didn't notice the first time, he's surrounded by the crackling energy of transformation. Now, and again, circling back to where I began, this all begins after Commander Shinomiya confidently and directly addresses Kaiju number 8. Not Kafka, he addresses the Kaiju. And he points out something to the Kaiju. Basically, he says, your cover is blown. You've given us more than enough evidence to know that you are a kaiju. Now, in classic literature tradition, when a character says another character's name with a certain tone and intensity, this signifies a character reveal. So think about every Agatha Christie novel you've ever read. And Hercule Poirot, or whoever's the detective of the day, gathers all of the characters up in the main room, turns to the kindly old butler who everybody thought they could trust, and announces that he is really a foreign spy out to steal the, submarine plans. So the foreign spy is out to steal the submarine plans, and so the Poirot turns on him and says, Isn't that so, Mr. Foreign Spy? Or Monsieur Foreign Spy? And everybody gasps. What I'm saying is that the third to the last panel in the scene has the same energy. Basically, Commander Shinomiya has walked up to who everybody was assuming was sweet, innocent little Kafka, and had powered his fingers into him to draw the blood sample, and states simply that they have proof that he is actually Kaiju number 8 and not Kafka. And Kafka starts to transform, looking angrier than we have ever seen Kafka, except when he was defending Reno and Aharu from Kaiju number 9. That was the only time I can think of that we've ever seen Kafka angry at anybody else. We've seen him angry at himself, but not to this level of intensity. And he let Vice Captain Hoshina dice him up like sushi and didn't get this angry. And Commander Shinomiya has made a much smaller injury on him, and here he is about to pop with anger and about to lose his cool and transform, losing any chance he had of talking Commander Shinomiya out of this. Right, and this all happens right after Commander Shinomiya uses the Hercule Poirot revealing who the spy is tone of voice when addressing him as Kaiju number 8. And then the final panel is Kikoru looking utterly shocked and aghast with the exact same expression in her eye that she had when she was confronted with the evidence that Kafka's heart was actually a core. So, what of this? Go back and look at that final panel on page, I think it's page 23. Yes, so the second to last panel on page 23, the one that zoomed in on Kafka's face and the energy bolts as he starts to transform. Now, if the energy bolts had only been around his hand, he might have been just healing his wounds. But they're also above him, so his whole body is preparing to transform. He's showing an emotion that is nearly foreign to Kafka's character. He has just been called out as Kaiju number 8, and Shinomiya is looking shocked. What does that say to me? That says to me that there's a very, very good chance that we might get a transformation and we might actually get to see Kaiju number 8, the actual sentience and the sapience that is behind what happened to Kafka. And if that is true, that would be a plot twist I don't think really any of us saw coming. Or rather, like Hoshina, we might have seen it coming, but we were so taken in by Kafka's charm that we turned a blind eye to the possibility. So what do you think? Is Kafka about to transform for the final time and reveal that Kaiju number 8 has just been quietly riding along for the ride? Now, why would Kaiju number 8 do this? Why would Kaiju number 8 quietly sit in Kafka's body, letting Kafka do whatever he wanted, and then only come out when directly addressed by Commander Shinomiya? There has been a lot of speculation that there are different factions of Kaiju, and that Kaiju number 8 was sent to find allies among the humans. Who better to be the target for this Kaiju, the target to talk to communicate with, than Commander Shinomiya? He really couldn't have any success talking with anybody of a lower rank. So what if the Kaiju's plan was to lay low until Kafka had risen far enough through the ranks of the defense force and was a trusted officer until he could directly address the Director General? But now he's had this chance thrown into his hands earlier than he intended. Kafka's there talking to the Director General. The Director General has initiated a conversation not with Kafka, but with Kaiju number 8. So what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Are we about to get to see Kaiju number 8 for the first time, not just the Kafkaesque body? Is Kaiju number 8 going to appear in the same form that he is when Kafka's controlling the transformation? Because remember, Kafka basically built that body to look like a Defense Force suit on a particularly ripped human. What if there is an actual Kaiju number 8, what will he make the body look like? That's something to think about. All right, well, hopefully we will see it this Thursday. If not, we will see it next Thursday. Some of my contacts are saying we won't get a chapter next week, but I don't know what the sources are for that. If not, this will be our Thursday video, and hopefully it will help you get through the long wait. week by filling you with existential dread. All right, so if you want to laugh to hold you over till the next chapter of Kaiju number 8 drops, be it in a few hours or a week, go to the links below the video. Check out Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data, a book of human absurdity, Monty Python meets Star Trek in the short story collection. And peace out, my wonderful viewers.
The book from author Betty Adams, Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data, is a humorous look at human behavior through the eyes of aliens. This book is arranged in separate reports or essays, documenting the experiences with humanity through the lens of the aliens who have to interact with them. This anthology of short stories and vignettes from alien points of view highlights some of humanity's quirks we can all relate to. Author Betty Adams captures how strange and interesting humans can really be. This is a fun collection of stories you will really get a kick out of. Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data, from author Betty Adams. Order your copy right now on Amazon.